But it sucks to be a woman to be stationed in Korea. It sounds like,
Just I think the military in general. Mine actually happened at Fort Riley, Kansas,
Oh, okay.
uh, by a CID agent that I worked under on the narcotics team. He like pistol whipped me, beat me, and raped me, and left me in an abandoned building, pretty much just to. It was bad. It was really it was bad.
Ain't stressed about nothing right now cause everything's straight. I'm feeling so grateful, thanking my maker for this wonderful day. Ain't tripping on nothing right now cause everything's straight. I'm feeling so grateful, thanking my maker for this wonderful day. Hey, the injuries visual to your mind.
Things that you've dealt with. I mean, your time in the army, you had a pretty rough time, right?
Yeah. Uh, I was all any one of my soldiers would tell you I had a little bit of a mouth. I didn't really give a fuck if my superiors didn't think I was a little unorthodox. Okay, like I know in the NCO Creed, I went to the board in Iraq. So it was like a makeshift shitty board, no class A's, no nothing. I was in dirty desert DCUs. But when I had to recite the NCO Creed, and when they asked me questions about it, I said, well, I'm sorry, but the NCO Creed is wrong. And they were like, the sergeant major's up there, my platoon sergeant, everyone's like, oh, what the fuck is she? The NCO Creed that's been around is wrong? What's wrong with you? And I was like, well, you talk about mission first, then take care of your soldiers, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you got that fucking wrong. It is not the mission first. It is your fucking soldiers, because there is no mission if there is no soldier. And if you're not taking care of your fucking soldiers, there's no motherfucking mission, because your mission cannot be done properly, effectively, and top notch. The safety of everyone else is not going to be okay if there's that one soldier that you're not taking care of, and they don't respect you, and they don't care about the mission or themselves or each other. If you fuck up your soldier mentally and they don't feel like you give a shit about them, the whole mission is compromised and everything's fucked up. And that is like a ripple effect. So, and I cuss a lot, and you're supposed to be all prim and proper and perfect, but we're in a fucking combat zone, and I'm at a board in the middle of combat, and you're telling me that, I need to put my mission before my fucking soldiers. Fuck you. Right. Then I don't want to be your fucking NCO. I'm still going to be a team leader, but I'm not going to be a fucking NCO. I'll be a little specialist team leader doing the same fucking job for less pay, because there is no fucking way you're going to tell me to put the mission before my soldier,
Right.
And the sergeant major himself clapped for me. Like, he clapped. That was weird. That gives me goosebumps still to this day. That gives me goosebumps, just because he was like, I like your attitude. I don't have any more questions. And I'm just like, okay. And I was sweating like, like a motherfucker. Well, it's Iraq, but I was
hot as hell out there anyways.
Like, it was crazy, but I just keep thinking about stuff like that. Like, I genuinely loved what I did in the military, and I felt like I was good at it because I'm a little bit softer than most people. I'm a very emotionally driven woman, and I cry a lot, even when I'm frustrated, when I'm angry, when I get tattooed. I'm not crying because I'm in pain. I'm laugh crying because it fucking hurts, but I cry because I fucking cry, because I feel. And I was always that way. It's a lot worse now that I'm a mother.
Right.
Fuck, that made me soft, right?
Right.
But I also kept my mouth shut when it come to standing up for myself, but I would always put my soldiers before myself. And I had a recruiter here that was extremely disgusting. I didn't know that he was sexually harassing and assaulting and touching and groping other women. I should have thought about it. If he was doing it to me, he's doing it to them. But I figured, if I can just deal with his bullshit for a year through the delayed entry program, go away in the Army, I'm never coming back. I don't have to see him again. He's going to retire in a little while. Like, if I just keep my mouth shut, I won't be the female that he told me everybody thinks females are. Females are usually a slut or a bitch. And I don't want to be the female that has the reputation of a whistleblower and, you know, accusing every man of sexually assaulting me because he made me feel like that's all women did was play the victim card in the military or lay on their back to get promoted. So I had in the mindset before I even joined officially was no matter what anyone does to you, no matter what man does to you, like anything, you suck it up, you drive on, you act tough, and you stuff it, and then you just go from there. I don't know. Like that was just my
shitty. That's shitty to have to think like that. Like I was telling my wife, I've been watching a lot of females that serve in the military. And I'm like, fuck, like me when I was in, you know, I would like I said, I spent 9 years in, and there's not a lot of females that work as an engineer that works, you know, work with engineers on the floor or on the ground, you know, similar like grunt units, you know, you don't see a lot of females in the area, you know. But I hear stories of shit like that. Like you said, I just had to take it. I had to deal with it because I didn't want to have an image
labeled.
I didn't want to be labeled, you know?
Yeah.
My wife's like, oh, fuck yeah. She's like, women deal with this every fucking time they go anywhere to do anything.
It's true.
Whether it's in the military. Like I said, I had Laura on my show. She was like one of my first guests, you know, she one of the top, like my third guest or so. I've had her on twice now already. And she helped rewrite the UCMJ when it comes to MST, when it comes to the military sexual trauma, you know? And to know that this happens this much, it's sad to know that, holy fuck, what are we doing? What are us doing as NCOs, as staff NCOs? Why do we think that we can do these things to the other females? Why do we think we can do this to females? They're not less than us. They're equivalent to us, and some are even fucking better than us. Point blank, point simple.
Like that though, or men that have that whatever's wrong with their brain, you know.
Right? No, absolutely. I had a sergeant. I had a sergeant that I served with when I was stationed in North Carolina. She was a badass sergeant. She was badass at everything she did. She would fucking bust knuckles with you replacing diesel engines. Like she'll get in there and fucking bust her knuckles with you. And she could run her ass off. She could PT her ass off. Couldn't nobody keep up with her. She was badass. I never saw one guy try to take advantage of her like that. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe she did. Maybe somebody did further in her career, maybe, or maybe before she got to us, they may have. You know, but like you're saying, you had to deal with the recruiter. You didn't want to be labeled. And I guess that from what my understanding, that happens a lot, apparently. That happens a lot in the military for females.
I found out later, right before I deployed. So after I not deployed, they called it a deployment, but DC. Well, I was in Fort Riley, Kansas on my birthday, January 25th of 2002, right before we went to, a couple months before we went to DC. A CID agent contacted my unit and brought me in, and I was literally interviewed what would felt like an interrogation for like 3 or 4 hours about my recruiter. And I was fucking terrified because I'm like, CID, that's like the FBI of the fucking army.
Right, for the military, right? Absolutely.
You know, like, why do they want to talk to me? Well, then I learned he actually had like raped women. He had actually, like, he didn't rape me. He assaulted me and he attempted some things. I broke that motherfucker's nose though. So I did. I was worried I was going to get in trouble, but of course he's not going to tell everybody that I did
it. Hell no, he ain't going to say nothing.
Yeah. But they asked me questions. And so knowing that there was all these other women that came forward and there was an investigation on him, I was like, well, fuck, here it is. And I told the truth. He's a registered sex offender.
Holy shit.
Unfortunately, I think he still lives in my town I live in now.
No.
Yeah, I just found that out like a year ago. But he was in jail. He lost everything. Unfortunately, his wife, I guess, stuck by his side. He was married.
Oh, wow.
Had kids. But that gave me a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth, you know, about like how you're supposed to behave as a female in the military. So I didn't really tell a lot of people about it, you know, because it was embarrassing. Like I felt like I didn't want to be, I hate the word victim. I fucking hate it, right? Nobody
No,
wants
absolutely.
to be a victim of anything, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that was hard. And of course, there had been advances. I mean, even before the military, there was guys in high school or junior high even that, they grope you or they touch you or they whatever. There's not a lot of men that are disrespectful like that, but it's not like it's just a military thing. It happens everywhere.
No, absolutely. That's what my wife says. She's like, it happens fucking everywhere. You don't have to just be a military thing.
No.
Little
And
girls get
it
touched.
doesn't mean that every military man is not a piece of shit either. There's men like you that are like, I've been with my wife 20 fucking years. Like, and are disgusted by the thought of someone doing that to your little girls,
No, absolutely. Yeah, no. I'd kill somebody. I'd kill somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some really good quality people. So I never want anyone to think that, I'm not a man hater. I love men. But it's rough because you always feel like you have to prove yourself as a female in the military. And I know there's women out there that don't feel they need to prove themselves. So I'm not speaking for every woman in the military. I'm speaking for, when I talk, I mean, my own personal beliefs was like, I've got something to prove. I've got to prove to these men that I'm worth being their leader. I'm worth them following me into combat. I'm worth them listening to me. I was open to listening to a private or a specialist or someone that I outranked. If they had a better idea or they thought of something more clever or a way to do something smarter, not harder, fucking tell me. Don't be afraid to tell me. But, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty either. And I, DC back to Kansas after Iraq. I laterally transferred to CID to be the NCOIC of the narcotics team because they were building up the drug suppression team from the ground up. It had been inactive for years.
Oh, wow.
So then I was on the narcotics team for a year. And there was an agent in charge of me, Agent Tello, who I think just got out of federal prison a couple of years ago, maybe. He was another one like my recruiter. This is going to sound so dumb. There's going to be some fucking badass military people watching this video, and they're going to think she's a fucking dumbass. But in my mind, I knew I was going to be the first female sergeant major of the Army. I was going to go to air assault school. Everything a woman could do, you better fucking let me do it. Like, as soon as the Ranger school opens up for a chick or Sears school or fucking, I want to be a Navy SEAL. I'm going to get out. I'm going to join the Navy so I can be I just wanted to do everything. I wanted to be GI fucking Jane, right? And just scream at the world, suck my metaphorical dick, right?
Right.
Like, I was a feminist, okay? But I believed in my head that Agent Tello was this badass motherfucking CID agent that knew what he was talking about. We were told, hey, you guys are part of the MP units. You need to come to this undisclosed old rundown building that looks like a public work building with no windows. And we're going to, from the ground up, I was the interviewer, interrogator. I ran the narcotics team. I had an undercover guy underneath me. Now is my ex-husband and the father of my two boys. But when you're locked in a building with no windows 24/7 and you live in a rundown barracks with nobody else, an entire 100-room barracks, and you're the only two living in the building, you're going to end up fucking. It just happens. I'm not allowed to see anybody but criminals that I'm interviewing. So of course, me and my undercover are going to end up together. Hi, Jeremy. So the agent in charge, he told us, we're this elite special narcotics team. We're going to be working with the FBI. We're going to be working with the, every acronym you could think of within the government, he used and said, the ATF and the blah, 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 and the local police department and blah, 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 right? So he said we needed to learn advanced fighting techniques and advance this and advance that. So he would literally have us fight each other. Like, he would have Jeremy beat the fuck out of me. And he's like, you're a female. You need to learn how to fight and defend yourself. Jeremy, kick her ass. And he was like, I'm not going to hurt her. So then Agent Tello would attack me and tell me to fight. So I would get fucked up, beat up, nonstop, try to fight, and he would keep telling me it's for my own good, right? And I'm thinking I'm a part of this fucking badass elite narcotics team like you see on fucking, TV in the movies and shit, and I'm running it. So like I'm a badass now, and I'm barely at E5. I've only been in the military like 2 fucking years, like 3 years. I'm a badass, right? Well, he ended up assaulting me multiple times, trying to sleep with me. He was married and had kids. He found out Jeremy and I were together and sleeping together, and he did not like that because he kept trying to sleep with me. So he threatened my military career and said, you're an NCO, he's a specialist, you're his superior, you're his direct supervisor. I can report you, you can lose, UCMJ action against you, kicked out of the military, like I'll fuck your world up. So you can either suck my dick or fuck me or lose your military career. And so, of course, I told him to go fuck himself, which led to me walking out thinking I was going to quit, didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do. You can't just quit the Army. So it's like, what the fuck am I going to do? Who am I going to tell? Who's going to believe me against a married CID agent that has like all these awards, who has done all these things with his career, and I'm fucking my undercover? Like, I am so screwed. So I started to walk out of the building, and that motherfucker pistol whipped me from behind, and I don't remember all, of course, but he raped me, beat me up pretty good. And then he left, and I was just on the floor of this old abandoned public work building right below the CID office, just blocks away from the CID office that I was never allowed to go to, because we were also investigating what sucked. We were investigating our own MP units for illegal use of narcotics. So they wanted to hide us away so people would forget us, people would change, people would leave. And I ended up having to become a fucking narc against my own company, So I was fucked up. They were trying to have me investigate people that risked their lives for me, people I served with in combat. And then I started realizing, like, this isn't where I want to be. This is not what I want to do. They even turned me against one of my own soldiers and gave me false information when I investigated and interviewed him. And I made him think that he was going to lose custody of his daughter if he didn't tell the truth. And this has been almost 15 years now. He still doesn't speak to me. And I still have a lot of guilt about that. I still feel like I fucked his whole career and his whole life up over shit I didn't even know the real truth about, because in my mind, I was so brainwashed and doing what you're told, what you got to do, keep your mouth shut, do this is your career's on the line, and I never thought anyone would lie to me and feed me false information just to try to get the truth out of people,
And it sucks because of the simple fact, people don't know the shit that we deal with in the military. Like,
no,
everybody's like, oh, it's all red taped and everything's all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just shit like this, like you're saying.
And I'm terrified to talk about it, right? Because can any of this shit come back on me? Like, right. I lost my friendship with this guy, and he was my soldier in Iraq. Like, he fucking fired at enemy fire coming at us with RPGs and small arms fire. He was my gunner, risking, like, his fucking headgear, his fucking Kevlar was hit with shit. Like, we have been shot at, almost died, almost blown up together. And I almost ruined his fucking life over an investigation that I believed was true. And it turned out none of it was, it wasn't even him.
And it sucks because you're like, this is the shit they fed me.
Yeah.
I'm going off of what I was fed,
And then this asshole who makes me feel like I'm important and a badass threatens my whole military career, beats me, tries to rape a fellow local police officer. And that's how it all went down. Is we were we were doing a meth lab certification with a fire department at a college, doing training, learning how to make meth, learning what it smelled like, learning how explosive it is, learning the dangers, recovering bodies from smokehouses. We were doing some hardcore training for the narcotics team. And he got shit-faced drunk and tried to break into my hotel room and her hotel room. And he forced his way in on her and tried to rape her. And that's how the whole shit show went down. And then by the time it went to trial, I was stationed in Korea. And they flew me back from Korea for his trial in Kansas. And there was probably anywhere from 16 to 20 other women throughout his entire military career. And those are only the ones that they were able to find. And he ended up walking for mine and a bunch of others because there wasn't proof. We waited too long because I didn't tell anybody. I was worried I was going to lose my whole military career.
Because of what you were doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had just turned in my packet to become a CID agent because that was at the time, that was my new goal, was like, holy fuck, I want to be a female CID agent. There's not that many of them. Mm-hmm. And there's this guy, Agent Anderson. I hope he's watching, Ryan Anderson. He, one of the best fucking badass military men I've ever served under. Badass. And he's still, I think, a CID agent. He's been married too, like 20 something years. His wife is stunning and amazing. And I'm sure she has been through so many deployments with him, and they have 2 beautiful kids. And he was the one that made me want to be an agent because he was one of the good ones, you know? And so there are really good ones. He was amazing. But all that shit happened to me. This guy gets convicted. His wife stuck beside him through the whole thing. It still is to this day, I believe. But he was convicted with enough to get court-martialed. I think he ended up in Leavenworth. I don't know. But I got some notice through a third party that he was released somewhere in the last 5 to 10 years. He was released from there and he's free. When I tried to do research on if he's a sex offender and all that stuff to find out where he is in the world, because I don't ever want to run into that. That guy scares the fuck out of me. Right. He's got some mental issues. Like, I'm not worried about my old recruiter. I could probably kick his ass. This guy scares the fuck out of me. And I have no idea where in the world this man is. So, and that's weird because when he did that to me, that was in 04, 05, 04, 05. And I mean, that's 15 fucking years ago. And I'm still terrified of that man to this day.
No, and a lot of the stuff like that for females, it still haunts them. Even after so long, it don't matter. They could have been 9 years old and it still haunts the shit out of them. They could be grown people, grown women, you know? Yeah. And it still haunts the shit out of them. It's just the shit that they got to deal with. And they're like, how do I deal with this? You know, how do I deal with the fact that this sorry SOB still has a hold on me? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. But that tainted me a little bit, because then I got an orders to Korea, and my undercover guy, Jeremy, my boy's dad, was like, well, fuck, I guess we get married. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, I can't go with you to Korea, so I guess we should just get married, right? And I was like, whoa, I mean, either that or we break up. So yeah, let's get married. So we got married. And in March of 05, somewhere 06, 05. And they deleted his orders to Korea day after our wedding. So he went back to Kansas. I went to Korea. They said they messed up on the paperwork. He came to Korea. They stationed him way down at Camp, I can't even remember names of shit anymore. Camp Casey, and I was up at Camp Stanley. So we were hours away from each other, but we had sex one time and I got pregnant. Love you, Brody. You're not an accident. I love you. So we got pregnant, and we were young, you know, he had a drinking problem. He didn't really want to be a dad, you know, like we just realized it wasn't working. We were toxic. Okay. It wasn't just him. We were toxic for each other. He's not a horrible piece of shit. I would never speak bad of my kid's father. But we both fucked up in military. We're both fucked up. So I decided, because I was going for the E6 board, I was an acting platoon sergeant at the time with Sergeant Geiger, who, this little shit, you're a little shit. He and I went to basic together, and we ended up in Korea together. And the funny thing is, my senior drill sergeant from basic was my platoon sergeant in Korea. Crazy motherfucker. He's awesome. So me and him took over as acting platoon sergeant together because we were both just little E5s. I was going for the E6 board, but I was pregnant. So my female lieutenant was like, oh no, you're having an abortion. We're not telling anybody about this. You're going through a divorce. You're never going to make it in the military as a single mom. So if you want to be the female sergeant major of the Army, you better get rid of that baby.
The fuck out of here.
And my son, he's old enough to understand. We've talked about it. So he can, if he hears this, he knows, people were trying to force me to not have him to further my military career. And that was the moment I decided to get out. And I chose my child. And I know it sounds fucked up to be emotional about choosing a child over the military, but
no, absolutely not. I think that's what's wrong with our country, is that it gets to a point where you realize, when do you make a determination of when life is life?
Yeah.
Who are you to say, I don't like you, so I'm going to end your life?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In that position.
And for some women, people talk about, oh, my body, my choice, my body. But
yeah,
body inside of your body is not your body. It's a part of you. It's like you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
My wife is a huge against abortion. We are completely pro-life. Yeah. Like I said, man, we've had 7 we have 7 kids. We're blessed to have 2 biologically, and the other 5 we've been able to adopt. And we are huge advocates for pro-life.
And don't get me wrong, there are some circumstances where people are raped or whatever that I do believe there is a point where there could be should be a choice. But for me, I was married. I was a grown woman. I had unprotected sex with my husband. I knew, even though I was on birth control, it's still only 99% chance. So I knew. I was 23, 22. I mean, I didn't want kids yet. I wasn't ready. I had so much more to do with my career, but the fact that someone was telling me to get rid of my child made me sick. And
absolutely,
the fact that they thought I could not perform and do my job as a woman or as a soldier because of the fact I was going to have a child on my own really upset me. So I did a chapter 8 for pregnancy, honorable discharge, which I'd never tell anyone about because I hate explaining the story. But everyone's like, how many years did you do? I'm like, oh, I did 5. I did 4 years and 8 months or something.
Don't worry. You did 5 years. I did 8 years and 10 months. I was like, I did 9 years.
Yeah. I don't want to tell the story all the time, so.
No, absolutely. No, and it's understandable. But the thing is that you didn't have the resources that you needed in order to further your career.
Yeah.
That was a neglect of your NCOs, your staff NCOs, your officers. They neglected you and did not provide you the proper resources you need to further your Army career.
And then they didn't let me go to the board.
And they didn't let you go to the board. See, and that's the biggest thing. That's what I try to do with the Stone Vet, is to provide resources for everybody.
Yeah.
When you're lost or when the times are hard, when you're in financial struggle, we all go through we all have our own freaking things that we deal with, whether it's financially, mentally, emotionally. But my goal is to provide resources for our brothers and sisters, depending on where you're at and what you're doing. We have brothers and sisters that are fighting for us, every day to say, hey, I'm struggling right now. I need a little help. I had a brother here. He does battle on the home front. He's an Army veteran. He does battle on the home front. His goal this year was to provide Christmas trees for veteran families.
Oh.
And he was working with the guy here in Oklahoma. So he works with he's able to host his show, his podcast at the Republican GOP here in Oklahoma. and he had found somebody to donate trees. I said, yeah, I would love to donate trees for your cause because it's a good cause, right? A veteran helping other veterans with Christmas trees, right? And then he found out that he shoots his show with the Republican GOP, and he said, I can't help you. I don't want to help you no more. And he said, why? He said, well, you shoot your show at the Republican GOP. And I'm like,
Oh
you
my
gotta be
God.
fucking kidding me, right? And he told me about it. I said, hold on, let me reach out to some people that I know. I got a brother, he's out in Georgia. He does Tackle 22. He does free fishing trips for veterans down in Georgia. Active duty Army. He works on an Army base. He works down there in Fort Benning. Out there in Fort Benning he works. And he does fishing trips. Free fishing trips. You come out, he has the rods, the lures, he has everything. You come out, he feeds you lunch and everything. But he has sponsorship, so he's able to do that. You know, it costs money to take the boats out, fill up the boat with gas and the food and everything else needed. So he has sponsors. And I told him, I said, hey, I got a brother up here. He's an Army brother. This was his mission. It got put on a hold. I said, he's trying to raise money. Can you help me share this so we can try to raise some money so he's able to do this?
That's awesome.
That night he raised over $2,000 to be able to
Oh
continue.
my gosh, that's so great.
I was like, you're fucking right, dude. That's my brother. That fucking jarhead has that same EGA burning in his heart. He found the mission. He got told what the mission was. He went in, and his followers helped him raise the money to be able to provide for the mission here that needed help. And I said, that's what it's about. Our brothers and sisters helping each other in a time of need.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
regardless of where you're at, I don't care. I know people in all over this country. I know people on all walks of life.
Yeah.
But they're here to help. We're here to help each other. Is what we're supposed to be doing. Like I said, we took an oath. We raised our hand and said, I will defend this Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. Foreign and domestic. Right now, our country's in a freaking turmoil with domestic shit.
Yeah.
Right now. And
it's awful.
We need to be able to take care of each other because nobody else is going to take care of us like our own brothers and sisters.
Yes.
You know? And I'm tired. I want to reduce that number of 22 a day. The days get hard, the days get dark.
Yeah.
But that's not to say, hey, brother, how you doing? And of course, me, I reach out. I try to reach out. I get busy. Like I said, I got a busy freaking household. I've got 7 kids. I've got a wife. I help my wife run her own distribution center and her online store. We get busy.
Yeah.
But I try to take a moment out of my day and just text somebody or call someone and say, hey, how you doing, man? I'm just following up. I just want to see how you're doing today. Because we need to. We have to. Because like I said, we're stubborn. We're too prideful. We're like, no, I don't fucking go. I don't want to help from anybody. I don't need help from. What it comes down to is sitting here and bullshit, like we're doing now. We're talking about how you serve, and we're just hanging out. We're just shooting the shit, just enjoying some time together. Because sometimes that's all we need is somebody to lend us an ear to let us talk for a little bit.
And who knows? Maybe somebody watching this will really need one of the organizations that one of us is talking about, or maybe they'll reach out to you for help or me for help, or maybe we save just one of those 22 a day, you know?
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing, you know, and it's finding the purpose again. What is our purpose again? Some of us were NCOs, some of us were never NCOs, but we knew what the mission was, and we knew we had a brother to our left and our right every day. When you went to work every day, your brother was there with you. No matter what it was. Either y'all got stupid drunk last night and had to go to fucking work early in the morning, had to go PT first thing in the morning. You didn't get in till 3, 4 in the morning and realize you had to go PT at 5. And you're like, fuck, I'm still drunk. I'm still drunk. I don't know. I gotta go run. What?
Oh, that smell. Oh my God.
The smell, right? The smell, the vomit.
Alcohol.
You know, it's crazy. And now that you're out, now that you did your time, now that you served your country, you got into holistic care now, correct?
Yeah, crazy, huh? Like, not a cop, not a badass, not a tough guy, nothing like that. I am spiritual, non-religious, but I believe in everyone's God. You manifest what you believe in with your energy. I believe in energy healing. I believe in marijuana, CBD, THC heals. I believe in natural oils and natural, healthy, organic foods. Of course, I am not perfect. I don't eat and drink and do everything to a T. I never claim to be you know, a shaman or anything like that. I want in Iraq, being first responders to a lot of things, I became very passionate about the medical field and about saving lives, because everyone had a doc, right? Everyone had the doc who was the medic, and mine was Sergeant James Blake. Hey, Blakey. And our doc was, of course, I'll say this, our doc was the best motherfucking doc ever.
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180 for being a sponsor. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
He's a badass. He actually inspired me to get into the medical field after I got out. I was like, what am I doing with my life? I can't be a cop because I can't leave my because I ended up with 2 boys from Jeremy. And I didn't have anywhere to go, anything to do. I'm like, I want to be a nurse. I want to help. And I couldn't get into school, so I went for medical assisting. I couldn't get hired on after I got my associate's degree because the school went under and they lost all their money, and then they found out it was a fraud, whatever. So someone says, well, hey, you got 12 months left of your GI Bill. You can get a diploma in something. And I'm like, oh, great, a fucking diploma. What am I going to get a diploma in? And they were like, massage therapy. And I'm like, I've never had a massage. I don't want someone to pet me. I don't want to work in a spa. I want to fucking heal people, right? I want to be a healer. And they looked at me like I was crazy, handed me a certificate, said, go get a massage, deep tissue massage. I cried like a little bitch. It hurt so bad, but I never felt so good. So I was like, you can be a medical massage therapist, like a healer with just these, right? So I fell in love with it, graduated with honors, loved it, and I've done it for the last 11 years. I opened up my own mobile massage business so I could help disabled people that couldn't leave their homes but still needed massage therapy. At the time, only medical marijuana was legal in the state of Washington and Oregon, but now it is statewide legal without medical necessity. And I can't tell you how many people I have, clients that I have. I see 6 people a day, every day. I'm booked solid. I would say 80 to 90% of those people now are huge believers, especially my elderly with arthritis and so much chronic pain and so many veterans. I roll that shit on. Like they just cover me. I made this at home. This is my, CBD oil, THC, whatever. They're like, I doused myself in it before I came in. I'm a huge believer in naturopathic and energy healing and just the organic, natural lifestyle, because there's too many drugs and chemicals that cause side effects mentally, emotionally, psychotically. People lose their shit. I mean, over literally the chemicals that are put into our food.
I just did an episode Wednesday on Veteran Trash Talk. That's what we the holidays are on us, so we spoil the kids a little bit with a bunch of junk food and stuff like that. So they had Elf cereal. I love the movie Elf, right? Elf's an awesome freaking movie, right? They had an Elf cereal, and I was sitting on the phone. I was talking to the doctor from the VA, and I was sitting on the phone. And I was looking at the cereals because we just had them on the shelf, and I was looking at it as I was talking to the doctor. And I look at this. I said, we can't eat this shit. In a big bold letters, it says bioengineered food product. I was like, what the fuck is this? I said, no. I told my wife, I said, we can't eat this shit. And they had a box of Lucky Charms next to us. Let me get some Lucky Charms. I looked at it.
Kids love that shit.
I said, damn, no more Lucky Charms.
No.
I was like, we can't do, like that. We're the same way here. My wife's the same way in the natural healing. We're not perfect. We don't eat all organic. We don't eat, it's hard. It can be hard. We get lazy and we're just like, let me just go grab something to eat real quick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, we try to do the best we can, and that's just human race, is that you do the best that you can do. You can only do as good as you can do. You can't. And
we do a lot of things by convenience and time efficiency, So
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. It's just that you have to find your balance with natural healing. The guys here at the Stone Vet, they know I'm a huge advocate for cannabis. I love cannabis.
Me,
Anything purple is my friend. Anything purple is my
yeah.
friend. I love anything purple. I'm a huge advocate. I love what it does for me. And people will tell you, and hopefully eventually, if I get me a new job, I'll be smoking on the show and hanging out and actually shooting the shit and talking about the strain that I'm using that day for this episode. That's the goal eventually, is where I want to go with it. But
Yeah.
guys, I'm like I said, not every cannabis plant is your friend. There's different strains
Yeah.
out there. There's different. You have to make sure you do your research and you find the terpene profile makeup that is
Yes.
compatible with your body, because it will scare you if you get the wrong strain. It will scare you, and it
And
can scare you.
I suffer from severe migraines, like put me in the hospital, like I
Oh yeah.
convulse in pain. And some strains actually don't work good for me, and some do. And I have not done enough research yet to figure out the difference. I didn't think there was a difference when I first started smoking weed. I'm like, it's just weed. It's a plant. It is what it is. You can't change it. You can't, but there is a lot of technicalities in
Mhm.
the way you grow it and the strains. And I mean, just like there's different types of tomatoes, there's different types of vegetables that, there's different types of apples. Like not every apple is an apple. So not every marijuana plant is a marijuana plant. So I'm learning. So I'm
Absolutely, and that's what we stress about, especially with Rafa 180. Like I said, my wife owns Rafa 180, and she studies it. Like she'll sit down and she'll just be sitting there reading it on her phone, studying something new.
yeah, I'm glad I met you. So now I can educate myself through knowing you.
Absolutely, and that's what she does. She studies it, and we have all kinds of walks of life that come to us and say, I want to try CBD. I've heard it can do good things for me. Okay, what are you suffering from? And she sits down and she walks through it. And if she don't know what it is, she's gonna look into it and she's gonna find, okay, you can have this, but you can't have that. You can have this, you can't have that. You can have this, and
Mhm.
so forth. And she reads it and studies it and sees what's coming out. What's great is that our processor is coming out with CBN now. CBN will help you sleep.
Oh shit.
So you have
That's
CBD,
something that we suffer from as veterans is sleep.
sleep, right? And so there's CBD. Everybody knows CBD.
Yeah.
But if you look in the hemp plant, you got CBD, CBG, CBN.
I didn't even
There's
know.
so many different CBs out there, and they all do different things. They
Huh.
all do various things. And like I said, my wife owns Rafa 180, and this is what she does: is study natural holistic care. And this is just the things that she helps. So her passion is helping people. That's what she's always been doing, is helping people. And when you study the plant, like I said, with cannabis, that's what I love about what Hellman Valley is doing down in California. Well, that's a brother. He's another jarhead like me. He got into growing cannabis. He's actually got a scientific backing on the cannabis plant, and he's actually creating strains that are scientifically researched and backed to tell you this is what's in this plant and this is exactly what this plant will do for you per strain that he has coming out. And I was like, oh, I got to get on this right here. Like, you're telling me that I can smoke this plant and it's going to give me the relief that you say it will give me. Like, it's without going through, because like a lot of it, I think as Americans, we're lazy and we want the information right there presented before us before we research it. Oh, you give me the information, this should be accurate, right? Don't believe anything that's presented right before you. Do your research on it as well. I
Exactly.
mean, you got to do your research on it. And it sucks. Does it suck? Yeah. I'll smoke any plant, but purple's my favorite. I've learned purple's my favorite. I like purple anything. But it just depends on what you're going for. I have to stick mostly to an indica hybrid dominant type plant. For me, is what works well for me. But you do have your sativas out there that do help some people. But
Hmm.
some sativas can make you go crazy and get you a little anxious. That's
Yeah.
why I say you have to study the terpene profile makeup. You have to understand the terpenes that are in it. If you start going on the hemp route, working with CBD, what kind of CBD, and you also need to look at the terpene profiles that are in it. That's what I love about our CBD that we have. All of our CBD comes with QR codes on it. and you scan that QR code, and it's going to tell you everything that's in that product.
Oh, really?
It will tell you
That's
everything of
smart.
how it will tell you everything that's in it. It'll tell you straight up from a third party lab tested. It's required by the state of Oklahoma to have a QR code so they can look at it and see what's in the product, what's in this product. And we back by it. Like we said, we are 100% THC free because there's cops and there's people out there that still can't have THC in their system,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But
A lot
when
of them,
CBD, when CBD and THC work together, it's freaking beautiful harmony. I'm
sadly.
telling you.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
when you can find the perfect balance between the two, it's amazing harmony. Like you live life and you're like, this is normal. This is what normal life feels like.
It
you
has
know?
legitimately saved my life. Like,
I-
I have been in some dark places, and like I feel like I feel like the pain management of it and the mental just get helping me with my anxiety, my demons, the sleeping at night. Sometimes that's when, I think that's when it hits us the most is when it's quiet and it's at night and it's in the dark. And then
Right.
your brain starts going to those places. And I feel like marijuana, THC, I feel like CBD, all that has changed my life and helped me.
Yeah, especially with you being in the field that you're in now, with the holistic approach to things. You're actually you can educate people on it and say, "Look, dude, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm doing." My wife does low level light therapy as well, and
Oh,
low level
nice.
light therapy is phenomenal,
Yes.
especially with the ailments that we deal with, like with TBI, PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
It allows it massages the nervous system and allows it to get away. It loosens up the anxiety and the depression and allows you to function as a
Yeah.
normal, what they classify as a normal person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't. Well, Robyn, I've appreciate this time you got here with us, that you spent with us. We've had a good episode. We've had a good show. Being able to come
Yes.
out and just have this camaraderie together, to be able just to open up and just talk to each other, just hang out, right? That's what
Yes.
it's about. This is what we've lost after getting out, after not serving anymore. Is we lost that brotherhood. We lost that camaraderie with each other. And this is why I do the show, is to bring people on just to talk. This is my therapy. It's my therapy session. It allows me to be able to open up and get the shit off my chest. Shit has been
Yeah.
depressing, because it does get depressing. The times get dark. The holidays are over now, so it's going. Now it's a new year, and you're like, oh shit. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it's better than last year, right? Hopefully, we got control of something. That's the biggest thing, and so you got any more information for our family out there, for our brothers and sisters? Anything, any last minute
Uh,
words you want to tell them?
yeah. Well, thank you, because this has been life changing for me, having other fellow veterans like reach out to me and talk to me, because I would never have gone public with my thoughts, feelings, or whatever, but I feel like it is therapy. And if there are other veterans out there that maybe don't want to be on camera and still aren't sure they want to talk openly, like message me. Like, you'll put it in the links, like put my Instagram, put my Facebook, put my fucking phone number. I don't care. My phone's on 24/7 for any veteran, anybody, I just don't want anyone to give in to that 22 a day and feel like they're alone. Cause honestly, it's been 15 something years, I've been out, and my brothers and sisters that I have served with, and even you, I wouldn't have been able to make it through these last 15 years without them. So you're not alone. You have a whole literal army and military behind you. So reach out, because I know a lot of organizations, and a lot of organizations have helped me. I wouldn't have made it through last Christmas or the Christmas before if it wasn't for my fellow brothers and sisters sending my children Christmas gifts when my whole world fell apart. And my daughter's dad shot himself, like he wasn't working. I didn't work. My kids weren't going to have a Christmas. I thought my husband was going to die. And the only people that came forward and helped me and did everything for me was my military family. And I haven't seen them. Most of them I haven't physically seen since Iraq. And they're the ones that have my back. So just know that we're here. I'm here.
Absolutely. And that's why I tell you guys, this is why we got to build our community. We already know we got each other six, but we have to just let each other know a little bit more every day. Hey, dude, whatever you need, I got you.
Yes.
let this new year that we got, let it be better than the last, because we know with the whole fucking COVID bullshit, it locked our country down and
Yeah.
gave us a long time to be sitting around to think about our own thoughts and our own demons that we deal with now. Now this year we're gonna make it. We're gonna be better. We're gonna be stronger. We're gonna definitely reduce that number. We're gonna
Yes.
make sure that we got our brothers taken care of, our sisters are taken care of. We take care of our own because nobody else is gonna take care of us. You know,
True.
just remember here at the Stone Vet, guys, we got your six.
Ain't tripping on them right now, cause everything's straight. I'm feeling so great for thinking my makeup for this wonderful day. Hey. The injuries visual to your mind. Sit back, relax, and feel the vibe. I think about what I'm going through. I wouldn't be nothing without my guy. Gotta keep my eyes on the prize. I struggle and strive.